Hey everyone, it's Martin here again. In the industries that I work in, you never know what to expect. It's an interesting thing today. I run sober living houses as part of what I do for a living, which is homes that we have men move to or come to help them get off drugs, get off alcohol, get off the streets, get out of prison, get out of probation, stuff like that. And we teach them how to live. But you're never surprised by what you see. And like one of the things that rang true today for me was there's a quote by a guy named Jocko Wilkins, and he says, discipline equals freedom. And I remember a few years ago, my wife went to a work conference and he was the main speaker, and that was the theme of the event. Discipline equals freedom, discipline equals freedom. And she brought home these towels or these little rag things, and they had them all, bandanas probably, and they had them all on there. And I remember like I wore that thing forever, and on top of our bathroom window or bathroom mirror, I wrote discipline equals freedom real big, right? And been trying to figure out what that means for me, right? And I wanted to read something to you out of our literature. It says, we realize that we are never cured and that we carry the disease within us for the rest of our lives. We have a disease, but we do recover. Each day we are given another chance. We are convinced that there is only one way for us to live, and that is the NA way. And it's interesting because today we had a guy not come home, right? And basically when they don't come home, that means that they're on the run again and they're back doing whatever it was they were doing. And it saddens me to see that, right? I've been clean 21 years and like thinking I have something to give these guys, right? Like I can give them the passion that I have for this program that has given me life, right? A love for it, right? The literature says that our program is a set of principles written so simply that we can follow them in our daily lives. And like, if you were to ask me, that's the one thing that I've done disciplined in my life, right? I told you I'm fat, trying to get down in body weight. But I've stayed clean for the last 21 years, right? I haven't gone back to drinking any alcohol, using any drugs, nothing, right? And so for me, like the discipline that I've learned here in the program, to go to meetings, to work steps, to talk to a sponsor, to practice spiritual principles, has been the only thing that has worked for me in order to get me into other areas of life, right? Like I'm a success today because, I went back to school and I got a bachelor's degree and I got a master's degree. I have an AA degree. You know what I mean? And in that learning of what I did in the program, right, to go to meetings, I learned how to go to work or go to class, right? And in talking to a sponsor, I learned how to talk to my teachers or talk to my boss and ask questions, right? In doing step work every day or reading my literature. I mean, if you look, this is my original book. If you look at it, right, it's like in 1,000 pieces, right? And so like in reading this every day and doing step work and writing, I learned how to do my job and do homework and stuff like that to be a success, right? Because the discipline that I learned here has rubbed off in other areas of my life, which has created some freedoms for me that I desire for these other guys, man. It hurts my heart to see. My wife cries all the time when we get close to guys that live here for a while with us and they decide that staying clean isn't for them. Like, it's not the way of life that they want, that they want to go back out and trying to figure out, like, if I could just instill in them that the only way for us to live, the only way for us to survive this disease that we suffer from is the NA way. I mean, the probability of addicts staying clean, what they tell us, 95% of addicts don't make it 5 years, right? And that's sad to hear, right? And I tell people, man, of that 5%, 95% don't make it 10 years. And of that, whatever's left of that 5%, don't make it 15 years. And whatever's left of that first 5% of the 95%, they don't make it to 20 years, right? And so like the only thing that has worked for me to be able to give me the life that I have is to have some type of discipline in my life. And what I'm hoping is that the discipline, the daily work that I have to do on a regular basis in order to keep the recovery that I have and to practice these spiritual principles and to be able to keep the freedom and the life that I live today, will rub off in other areas of my life, right? That's why I'm here making this video today, because I'm being disciplined about doing this, right? Because I want to be a man of my word. I want to do what I say. And so when I come here and it says that I realize that I'm never cured, that I got to do this for the rest of my life. Like, there never comes a point where I can be like, I'm good, I'm done, I'm cured, it's over. I'm never cured. And I get that people who don't suffer from the disease of addiction, they don't understand that, right? And they think after a few years, if you haven't picked up any drugs or drank any alcohol, you're good now. And that's not the case. The case is I'm never cured, right? It says that we carry it within us for the rest of our lives. Like, and I tell people all the time, we got a real good forgetter. In the first 22 pages of our literature, it has "we forgot" 8 times, right? I have a real good forgetter, and it tells me that everything is good and everything is right because my family comes back, and I get a good job, and I get, I get to have kids, and I get married, and I get all these blessings back in my life, and I start to think that everything is good, and now I need to start compromising certain areas of my life in order to keep them. And the reality is no, because the work that I did in order to get to the places that I am, I have to continue doing in order to keep those things. And I forget that sometimes. I forget that I suffer from a disease that doesn't want to go away. That tells me I'm good in my own voice. Tells me you can have just one. It's okay. You've been clean long enough. You deserve it now. And that's not, I have to remember, for me to drink or to use drugs is to die. Is to die again, all over again, right? And so right here it says, we are given each day, we are given another chance. We are convinced there is only one way for us to live, and that is the NA way. It said, but the part that I skipped right before that, it says that we have a disease, but we do recover. We do. Like, I live a great life. Like, I have an amazing family. I have wonderful kids. I have a beautiful wife. I have great grandkids. The other day, somebody was posting how when the grandkids come over, their house is a wreck. And I posted us too, right? Like, our grandkids come and they do damage in our home. And my wife's like, but we wouldn't have it any other way. And she's right. We wouldn't. You know what I mean? To be able to have time to have my family together is amazing, right? To have my kids and my grandkids and their wives all here at the same time having family dinner every Sunday night is beautiful, right? And that's one of the blessings that I was able to receive back from the recovery process, the discipline that has given me the freedom to be able to do this, right? But we are given another chance. And it hurts me when I see the guys get these chances to do things good for themselves for the first time again, and they throw it away. They squander it. And I get it, right? Like, we suffer from a disease that is progressive, incurable, and fatal, right? Like, it's trying to kill me. It wants me dead. It's constantly growing. It doesn't want me to be free of it. But there's only one way for us to live, and that is the NA way. I have to do step work. I have to talk to a sponsor. I have to go to meetings. I have to ask questions. I have to practice spiritual principles, right? And through the process of working the steps, this is where I find out those spiritual principles that I have to start practicing. And when I work the steps, I dig through all the garbage and all the stuff that I thought made me who I was, and that all the traumas that I experienced and all the abuses that I did to people and all the traumas that I created too. And my disease isn't who I am, right? It's just something that I suffer from. And so, like, if there's anything that I can encourage any of the guys, if they watch this, man, like, the only way we live is to do this. Like, read your literature, right? We tell everybody in our family, read the first 22 pages for 30 days. And I'm gonna tell you why. There's lots of people who do it and they don't know why. We read to memorize, we memorize to internalize, we internalize it to apply it. And the reason we read the first 22 pages for 30 days is because I need to understand the disease that I suffer from. I do. I need to have a game plan about how to combat it and how to fight it. But if I don't understand it, if I don't understand that it's progressive, incurable, and fatal, that it attacks me with obsession, compulsion, and total self-centeredness, that is a mental, physical, spiritual disease, then I won't know how to fight it, right? And it tells me that the solution is spiritual in nature. Right? The solution is spiritual in nature. That I suffer from a disease that is incurable physically and mentally. but the solution is spiritual in nature. Because I come in the second step to find a power greater than powers greater than myself, to find a God who loves me unconditionally. As the literature says, that brought me to this program and will continue to guide me if I allow it. And so when you get to the fourth chapter, it says how it works. And the fourth part of our symbol is God. And I tell people, man, that fourth, how it works, points you to God. So when I work the steps, I take the steps to God. So I just want to encourage people, man, if you're suffering from a disease of addiction, there's a solution. It's the NA way. And we have to do this thing called recovery so that we can find the freedoms, right? The literature says we only have one freedom, that's freedom from active addiction. Freedom from active addiction. There's not a bunch of promises here. You get one guarantee, freedom from active addiction. So I just want to say, I love you guys. If nobody has told you that they love you, know that God loves you, and so do I. Have a great day, and God bless you.